But you clicked on it anyway. I can't even remember the last time I played Minecraft. I couldn't even begin to tell you what the latest main feature there was at the time I stopped playing. As I said in my last video, I was looking forward to a Diablo clone with the procedural generation of Minecraft. I thought that was going to be Minecraft Dungeons, but the isometric camera ruined the exploration aspect for me. In fact, I thought that's what Cube World was going to be, but oh god, that's another can of worms entirely. With all the updates the game has been having, it got me wondering if I should try it out again. I think the main reason I stopped was that I wasn't being creative enough, or at least I was just leaning more towards the combat aspect than the building. But I wanted a sense of danger to it too, otherwise it's just another walking simulator. But with enemies only spawning at night or anywhere where it's dark, it gave me the impression that combat was an afterthought, despite the game seemingly encouraging combat with enchanting items with random modifiers. So I decided to play it for a few hours and see if I could spark that interest again. Originally I wanted to see what all the fuss was about with the new RTX tech, but not having a card that supported that, I had to make do without it. So what follows is the chronicles of, not knowing what the hell I'm doing. I opted for the Windows 10 version, otherwise known as the Bedrock or Pocket Edition. I'm aware that the Java Edition is more popular with the modding community, but since I already owned Minecraft way back in the day, I was given a free copy of this one, so I decided to check it out. Right from the start, I was taken aback that there was a character creator. Much more convenient than having to design one of your own pixel by pixel as before, but I'm sure designing your own from scratch gives you full control of what you want it to look like.
Gosh!
I did notice that a lot of the clothing options costed real money, and I was almost tempted to buy myself some. But then I remembered that I'll never see it again once I put on armor, something I don't think I'll ever want to take off, so yeah, what was the point now? I'm also playing by myself, so really, who's going to see... Oh.
Hello there.
As soon as I spawned in, I immediately started punching grass because I wanted a bed to spawn my spawn point. I didn't want to die right from the beginning and start wandering around aimlessly trying to get back to where I was. I kept doing this for a few minutes until I realized, wait a minute, something's wrong. I guess this is what happens when you've moved on to other survival games. All the rules start to blend together and you start forgetting what does what. I did remember one way to get wool was to kill spiders for their string, but for whatever reason I was being too stubborn and ended up making a pair of shears for my next goal. The biggest change that I like so far is the crafting menu. I used to hate having to remember 100 combinations of items just to craft what I wanted. Sure, it was immersive, but yeah, it got old quickly. But right now, you don't even have to place them in the grid. So soon night fell and I didn't even have a house yet. Again, this was a clear indication that I didn't remember jack about Minecraft, because I remember being fast enough to have a house by the first night. Instead, I had to go all Simon Belmont and endure the night. After I cleared the area, I said screw it and decided to just build a house where I was. I went for my go-to square block house because I'm so creative, almost just as much as I am with this video. Later on, I heard a fart. So I did what any reasonable person who was afraid of dying because their spawn point wasn't set would do. Go and check it out! Is that a villager? It looks like a wizard. Ah! After getting a good whiff of what the wizard had for lunch, I ended up panicking because I forgot how to cure poison. I was beginning to see the light at the other end and soon came to terms with accepting my fate. Or not. After being scared shitless from nearly dying, I was even more determined to get that bed. I dug deeper into a mine that I found earlier to get some more iron. After finally crafting shears, I eventually found some sheep that were... gray. Go figure. If it wasn't for the bed being craftable in different colors, the color of the wool wouldn't have mattered. In the end, I ended up having to play exterminator and kill a bunch of spiders anyway. Later on, I discovered some other weird type of zombie that didn't die in the daytime. In fact, it looked like a villager. It wasn't friendly, obviously, but hey, an actual threat in the daytime. That's a step forward. The next encounter I had was a flying stingray or phantom. Yeah, you can guess what happened. And holy shit, these guys are annoying! Soon after running back to get my items, I saw a village in the distance, but it was a little more vacant than I was expecting. What little neighbors there were? Yeah, they weren't too friendly. When I began to leave the village, I saw some locked up golems. I couldn't tell if they were hostile or not, but the green moss in their bodies wasn't giving me good vibes, so I decided to just leave, instead of finding out what would happen if I just politely asked, More than likely they were hostile, since earlier I was also politely helping myself to their crops. And then the biggest thing I dreaded about Minecraft started to happen. I was lost, and not a reed in sight to make a map. Only the sound of my sighs from being— Oh, Will, is that a baby zombie? Since I have the uncanny sense of direction of a baked potato, it took me until daylight hiding in the treetops until it was bright enough to see the familiar biome that my camp was in. Finally, on my way home, it was around this time I found out that my character looked like his shoes were encased in concrete. Having collected a bunch of iron earlier, I knew it was time to go full Iron Man and forever hide the customization of my character that I was smart enough not to pay for. I then started to work on getting a small farm started. Going by my memory of aforementioned baked potato, I can only remember that cows liked wheat. It didn't work on chickens, but luckily one wandered into my home anyway, so I decided to keep it as a pet. I named it Kentucky. After all, I wanted it to warm up to the idea of the journey ahead. Next, I encountered a rather gray-looking villager using a crossbow. I approached him to see what he was— No! Soon I discovered another village, a closer one in fact. The citizens of this one had less concerns with the taste of my flesh and more concerns with my wallet. One of them was even willing to trade emeralds for zombie flesh, which I knew I already had plenty of. My eyes lit up with dollar signs as I realized I could finally get paid for. And so it was decided. The villagers wanted flesh, and I was willing to give them flesh. Just not my own, maybe theirs. I decided to move into the village and become their savior, their hero, their— Well, Minecraft has changed so much that it's going to take a while for me to wrap my head around all the new changes. There's so many new recipes and new game mechanics that it almost makes it seem like I'm learning how to play the game all over again. And to a small extent, it does seem like the game finally has what I wanted. Enemies that spawn in the daytime, instead of just at night and then burning up in the day. This is slowly giving me a reason to explore the surface while also having fun killing and looting mobs. So will I continue playing the game?
Maybe. Maybe.
What? I told you.